the merch. I want to talk to you about Quinton Simon. Uh, this is the little boy that police and investigators believe that the parents, that his mom, Leilani, I always get caught up on that name, that his monster mom, according to authorities, is the prime and only suspect, and they believe that she discarded this poor little baby boy and threw him out into a specific dumpster, and he was brought to a landfill. And we didn't hear anything update wise by the FBI or the authorities this week on it. Nothing major to report about. But we still hold on to hope that they'll find some type of remains or some type of evidentiary evidence and collect it to come to a resolution and to come to bringing justice forward for this little boy. But what we have going on is a circus-like atmosphere, just like what we saw with Brian Laundrie outside the home, but it's getting taken to a little too far in my eyes. And, everybody's opinion, I respect it. I'm not asking for a mob mentality here. I just want to give you my perspective from a retired law enforcement professional's point of view. And I see no value in continuous night and day camping out in front of someone's home and chanting and going up and trespassing and going onto the property, which not everybody's doing, but some people are doing it. Some people have gone up and knocked on windows, flashed flashlights into people's windows. You have to take into account that there's other people that reside in those communities, elderly, children. We heard Brian Laundrie's sister and brother-in-law say that my daughter, or I think it was a daughter or son, that their child was scared inside their home. So you have to be a good human being and realize that yes, you're under the Constitution, you have the right to assemble and freedom of speech. But at what cost does that come? Do you think about elderly people who need to get sleep or that are in not good health or that are scared and in their home alone? Do you think about other people that this affects, the children, handicapped, the elderly, and so forth? And not to mention taxing the police. Now, I have not followed it closely, but I have, thank you to the ladies and a couple of my gentlemen friends, have sent me clips of the buffoonery, the jagaloonism, the craziness that has gone on night and day outside of this residence. And to me, I see no value in helping finding justice for Quinton Simon. Nothing, no justice, nothing that'll add to it. It's just bogging down the authorities and it's bogging down the community. Now, when you talk about wanting to interview potential suspects, meaning Leilani Simon, or her mother, or the stepfather, or grandfather, or brothers, or sisters, and any type of interference of interviewing potential witnesses and subjects, that is, in my mind, obstruction of justice. You are not putting the best interest of this tiny little victim at the forefront by doing something like that. So it is not the job of a civilian. It's the job of the duly sworn law enforcement professionals who are in and on that case. The lead investigator, the FBI, whoever is investigating it, those are the only people that should be speaking to potential witnesses, potential subjects or suspects, and that's it. So by somebody going and doing that, you are taking the justice for Quinton narrative and throwing it out the window. Because any conversations that are had between grandma, between the mom, between the biological father, These are all potential subjects and witnesses. Nobody should be interviewing them for their for their wants and needs, for their curiosity, because that is such a counterproductive. Listen, I could take Joe Murray, I could take Jess, the mystery maven, I can have my good friend Karen Cole from the UK, legal minded friends, and each of one of those criminal defense attorneys will tell you that we have a field day that is helping defend a potential person if and when they're charged. So this stuff just gets my blood boiling. You know, I can't stop it, but the people that are doing it are just, I don't know if they don't care, or they're just blocking it out, or whatever the case may be. It's not in the best interest of justice. It's good that non-seasoned professionals, people who don't know how to interview and interrogate, to go and talk to potential witnesses and subjects. Let me know by putting a 1 in the chat if you think that that's okay. Because I listen, don't be shy, and put a number 2 in the chat if you think it's not okay. For the folks who think that that's okay, go and look at the Delphi case. Look at this Delphi case that I covered for the first time last night. The Indiana superintendent of the police 5 months ago, and back, going back 5 years, across this 5 years, almost going on 6 years, investigation with Abby and Libby to try to find the bridge guy. You know how many times I was able to, in an hour, uncover that they said, the superintendent and other authorities said, it's not a good thing. We have to stop people on social media from trying to interview witnesses, or trying to badger witnesses, or going out and trying to extract information from people that we need to get that information from and legally document it so it could be used against them in a court of law. But if Joe Schmo or, Miss Karen goes out there and gets an interview from somebody who turns up to be a potential subject, witness, or perpetrator in a crime, a criminal defense attorney will strike whatever they say. Will get it totally taken off, and they won't be able to use that in a court of law. That is the furthest thing from justice for any potential victim. The furthest thing from justice for any potential victim. And I say that with extreme conviction, because that's how I feel about it. I told you that this one would be a short one, and here we are 10 minutes into this thing. I've got Mrs. Dutyron here with me. Listen, I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate the conversation about these cases. It's never easy to talk about and point out the wrongdoings that goes on in this case. And Ed Wallace and I, we're the first to talk about when the police do a poor investigation, right? We're the first to talk about that if investigation or evidence is not collected the right way. Example, Suzanne Morphew, Barry Morphew, her husband, he wasn't tried, he was charged with murder in Suzanne Morphew's disappearance. But because of shoddy evidence and shoddy prosecution and shoddy interview and interrogation skills, he's walking a free man right now. Do we want the murderer of this little baby boy, Quentin Simon, to walk free because somebody on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook wanted to be in there interviewing the family and the subjects? Is that really a good person that would do that? And if you're doing it intentionally, you're a horrible human being. If you're doing it unbeknownst and you're doing it because you're just not educated in that it's a thing to do it, that's why I'm creating this video. Because I want people to see this. I want people to see this and hear it. It's not a good thing. You are not helping to bring justice for this little boy, or for anybody in that matter.